Hey everyone, this is Aaron Fink from Grapple City Rewind. If you like what you hear on this episode, make sure to subscribe with whatever platform you use so you never miss an episode. Also, be sure to check out our back catalog of 25 plus episodes. We talk old pay-per-views and they're always good to go back to. All right, cue that music.
Hello and welcome to Grapple City Rewind, taking you all the way back to the iconic pay-per-views and television specials that helped shape professional wrestling history. Today we are going back 26 years to February of the year 2000, the year that I graduated high school.
Oh boy.
A year that was a long, long time ago. We're going to talk about a 77-year-old pregnant lady.
Yep.
Some of the physically tallest, heaviest dudes in WWF history, and maybe even flaming 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire will make an appearance. I'm Bradley Palermo, here, as always, with Aaron Fink. And Aaron, we've got something to look forward to this week because you and I are heading out to Ontario, California to witness a live broadcast of AEW's Dynamite this coming Wednesday, are we not?
Yeah, buddy.
Let's pull it up and see. I think they announced some of the matches that we'll see on Wednesday.
All right, we've got Chris Statlander versus Tekla for the AEW Women's World Championship in a strap match.
That'll be cool. Chris got to announce the stipulation on Collision this last Saturday, and she went for the strap match. I haven't seen a women's strap match before. I think there was one in the WWF or WWE like some years ago, like many, many years ago, but it's not a very common thing. And I don't think I've seen a strap match in person. They're always kind of fun. I mean, I don't know. I guess this is the one where you're going to hit all four corners to win.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how they decide, what they decide the rules are for this, because it definitely changes depending on the match and certainly depending on the company.
Yeah, but usually you get some people they hang each other by the strap outside the ring. They
whip each other.
You know, they whip each other, the shit out of each other. And I love Stat Daddy, as she calls herself nowadays. I don't really care much for Tekla, like not in she's a heel, she's bad way, but it's just kind of like a contortionist gimmick that I'm kind of neither here nor there about. So I'm not
Tekla's good, dude. Forget about the contortionist thing. She's just good. She's fast. She seems like she's stiff. I don't know. I like her.
Yeah, I guess her personality, her promos, like I don't get a lot of excitement when I see her. I've seen her a few times live and stuff. It's not like she's like terrible or anything in the ring. It's just I don't get like a fire inside of me when I'm like, oh my God, Tekla, one way or another. I'm like, but I do really like Chris, so I'm glad we get to see part of her championship run. And of course, because it's Ontario, we're going to get the Young Bucks. They're in a three-way tag with, I think, some mystery contenders and the Radicalz, who just came over from TNA.
Yep.
The Ontario is essentially where the Young Bucks are from, so we'll get some hometown heroes. That'll be alright. I mean, you know how I feel about putting that many people in the ring. It's whatever, but it's always fun to be there. I mean, we're like in the third row, so it'll be exciting. I think there was something else announced that was cool.
There's a TNT championship match. Tommaso Ciampa versus Kyle Fletcher. That'll probably be good.
Oh, that one I'm excited about because Tommaso's newly signed to AEW, coming over for WWE, of course, and he's already the TBS champion. Is that what you said?
TNT. TBS is the women's champion.
Oh, right, the TNT champion, and Kyle Fletcher is always awesome. So that'll be cool. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a lot of promos and filler, and maybe hopefully we get MJF coming out and talking shit or whatever. I think it's funny when he's in LA. He's so into Hollywood. He talks shit on all the towns, but he'll be like, you bunch of slob fucks or whatever in the crowd, but he won't say like in this shitty town, in this crappy town. Like he won't talk shit on Southern California, I think, because he's so Hollywood hungry.
That's funny.
my vibe, at least. I always felt like he took it easy on us. As an East Coast snob, you think he would say harder, you'd take harder swings at us out here in LA, but
I suppose, yeah. Oh, there is one more thing I'm seeing. Kenny Omega and Swerve Strickland face-to-face interview.
Okay, so somebody will take a swing in that, I'm sure.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know. Swerve is kind of perpetually in between heel and babyface.
Yeah.
But really, they're kind of both baby faces. So, we'll see. We'll see what's up with that.
We'll see. I mean, hard to top that Full Gear where Hangman drank Swerve's blood. That was some crazy shit.
That was one of the craziest things I'd witnessed live at a wrestling event. And I've seen a lot of crazy shit. So it'll be fun. We'll have a good time, and it'll be a good way to get us stoked on Revolution that we're going to see like in person like a month later or something like that.
Yeah.
And we'll get our seat. I guess we won't get to take home a seat from Dynamite. They don't do that. But at Revolution, I should be able to bring home another chair.
Oh, you're going to take home? You're sitting way closer than I am. I think I got good seats for Revolution, but not a floor guy like you.
Yeah, I'm addicted to it. So.
Bam. All right. Let's talk about No Way Out 2000. This was February 27th of the year 2000. From the Hartford Civic Center, 12,551 fans were in attendance, and we had the familiar team of Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross on commentary. So, first match, Kurt Angle, the European champion, against Chris Jericho, the Intercontinental champion, for the Intercontinental Championship only.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, starting off a pay-per-view with these two guys is never a bad choice. Angle came out to start off, and he was talking some shit to the crowd, getting some heat.
No "you suck" chance yet. This is pre-you suck chance.
Yeah, it was pre-you suck chance. I think it must have started, and I think... Didn't we just watch No Way Out 2001 and he was getting you suck chance?
Yeah. I mean, there were you suck signs. In this era, there's a lot of signs, but there were you suck signs, but they weren't cueing the you suck up to like the entrance music.
Yeah, they weren't timing it out to the music. And yeah, you're right. Dude, so many signs. That's one thing you can always say is a bit nostalgic, is like looking back and being like, man, we just don't do the sign thing anymore.
Sea of signs. Yeah. They're there, but
not like that.
People have said like this was the old school way of Twitter. Like if you wanted to say something to the world, you had to like get a sign on TV. There was one sign and it said like, "Catherine, will you marry me?" And I'm like, in a sea of all the other signs, is she really going to like catch this? Like she's probably not watching, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a bunch of weird signs. Like, wasn't there a legalize piracy sign behind JR?
Oh, I thought I saw another one that said legalize scalp. Oh, it said scalping.
Oh, no, scalping, not piracy. Yeah, it was legalized scalping. I was like, ticket scalping?
Taking the scalp off someone's head in the ring? I was like...
I hope not. I hope it was just ticket scalping.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw that and I was like, legalized scalping. Okay. Anyway. So Jericho is the babyface, Angle's the heel. Chyna is an ally of Chris Jericho's, and she has her own entrance here. She's over, of course. And yeah, like I said, when you have a match with these two guys, you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be good. They're both like in the top 20 of all time, in my opinion. I feel like that's probably not debatable, like in the good way. They're just there.
For sure.
And this is what I expected from both of them, super solid the entire way through. They had about 10 minutes, so not a ton of time, but enough time to like take the crowd on a roller coaster. And Angle cheats, uses the belt to hit. This is actually kind of cool. So the belt makes its way into the ring, the Intercontinental belt, and Jericho's about to hit Angle with the lion salt, and Angle has the belt and basically hits Jericho like in the face while he's mid lion salt.
Yeah.
And then gets the win. So he's the new champ.
Acai moonsault. They didn't call it the lion salt at this moment, which was interesting because it was the lion
It's
salt
always the lion salt to me.
in WCW, and I think it's the lion salt in AEW. And was it ever the lion salt in WWE? I'm sure it was. Again,
I think it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
they just maybe didn't say it.
he hit
but, yeah.
he hit the lion salt off the stairs at one point too. I mean, he did it off the ropes like he normally does, but off the stairs outside the ring. That was kind of cool. But yeah, it was a good opener, fun athletic stuff. And Kurt Angle is obnoxious with the new belt. He will be seen in between every match celebrating with the crowd, with other wrestlers.
That was actually pretty funny.
And that's just irritating the shit out of Chris because he's like, well, you cheated. Even though how many times has Chris cheated in his life? I mean, it's all is fair in wrestling. But,
and Angle is now a double champion. He is the European and Intercontinental champion.
And then in the second match, we've got the New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, who are the tag team champs, versus the Dudley Boys. And it was interesting. You got Bubba and Devon doing a promo before, and I never really noticed that Bubba Ray Dudley, I mean, obviously we hear him as a radio host talking about wrestling, but he's doing like a hick accent, but he doesn't stick to it because this guy has one of those like kind of like raunchy East Coast accents, and he'll do that for a second and then he goes back into like, you know, the hick. It's almost like the hick accent that MJF would use or other wrestlers when they're making fun of people in the South. They're like, all you dumb hicks care about out here is, it's like not really like how they talk, but so it's like like not really viable Southern accent, but then it goes back into his East Coast thing. I never really noticed that before.
It's because it's early in their tenure with the WWF, so I'm pretty sure that was a holdover from ECW, and I don't think that it lasts much longer in WWF. I'm pretty sure very soon he's like just talking like normal.
Just bully.
Bubba.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, I mean, it's always kind of, I mean, you get what you get with the Dudleys and the Outlaws.
It's just too short of a match for things to really get going. Like it was solid, but it wasn't what I know both of these teams are capable of.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably like on purpose, you know, because if I remember correctly, this is really like the beginning of when we start getting Dudleys, Edge and Christian, Hardys, like all sort of becoming the nexus of the tag team division. I think that the New Age Outlaws were kind of like the holdovers from the previous generation in a way. So it almost seems like that was the point of it, was like, you know, Bubba somehow got a lead pipe and he hit Billy Gunn with it like in the shoulder / the arm, which it seems like had already been injured somehow. I couldn't tell if it was in the match or from the previous week or something, but yeah, he did it outside when the ref isn't looking, so that just completely incapacitates Billy Gunn. Road Dogg gets a 3D for his troubles, and they pin them in 5 minutes. New champs.
JR says a lot in this that I don't like the damn Dudleys. They're a bunch of animals running people through tables like animals. And I was thinking, JR, what kind of animal puts people through tables? Like the only animal that puts people through tables are fucking professional wrestlers. So, but yeah, it was kind of funny. It was chaotic. You know, of course, the New Age Outlaws always have a great intro, and the crowd's always excited about that. And you know, they're coming out through the stage has a cage on it, the entryway and stuff. So there's a vibe here, you know. But at the end of the day, it's classic early 2000s tag violence. And Meltzer gave that one 2 3/4 star. That first one he gave 3 1/4 star. So I mean, those are just solid ratings, you know. And I agree with that. These first couple matches were fine. You know, this isn't like a landmark. This isn't like WrestleMania or anything, you know, this is building to WrestleMania. So we're not expecting like the biggest bangers on here, but they're pretty good so far. And then the third match was Mark Henry versus Viscera.
Yes. Sexual chocolate, Mark Henry. Don't forget.
Yeah.
This is the the infamous storyline for Mark Henry's early career, where he has a relationship with 76-year-old Mae Young and impregnates her somehow.
We'll be back after a quick break.
And this episode has been brought to you by Weber for Law, your tag team partner when life body slams you out of nowhere. If you've been injured in an accident, motorcycle, car, dog bite, slip and fall, or even if you've been hit in the head with a flying steel chair, these are the guys to call. They've got knockout reviews on Google, a killer track record, and they always fight for the win. I can testify to that personally. Weber for Law took care of me, and they will take care of you too. Don't wait. Visit weberforlaw.com. That's WEBER, the number 4, law.com. Or call 818-502-9200. That's 818-502-9200. Weber for Law, your tag team partner when life body slams you out of nowhere. And Viscera throwing her around in her old age. Yeah, I guess they say she's 77 at some point, but then it's corrected that she's almost 77.
Yeah, she's about to be 77 next week is what they said or something.
Yeah, at first I was like, how did she get pregnant at 77? But then I realized she was only 76. So I was like, well, that makes more sense now. But
oh yeah, and then the other piece of like context is Viscera is like almost 7 feet, 500 pounds, huge dude. He gave Mae Young like a big splash on a episode of TV, whether I can't remember if it was SmackDown or Raw, but yeah, so you know, she's an old frail lady. He hit her right in the baby maker.
Yeah, so Mark Henry has got to defend his geriatric pregnant girlfriend's honor and take on Viscera. So you have two of the biggest dudes, like two of the biggest guys in wrestling history, probably weight and height wise, going at each other. I don't even know who's bigger. I mean, I guess Mark's muscles and Viscera's fat. Viscera used to be Mabel when I was a kid. He was kind of he wore purple and rapped and was like kind of family friendly. Now he's like a goth guy, like with Marilyn Manson looking contacts and lots of black makeup on. And him and Mae Young actually died within a month of each other in 2014.
Oh no!
Mae at 90 and Viscera at 43. So
that's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. But he was so big.
Yeah, and then, this was a very short match. It didn't get much of a crowd reaction, like not to their entrances, not to what was really happening until Mae Young came running to the ring to defend Mark's honor, and finally the crowd started to react. They even got a boring chant before Mae Young showed up, which I was like, oof, I don't think I've even heard one of those in all of the things that we've watched so far. That was a little rough.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess they are just two big dudes. They don't do a lot. They move really slow. Obviously,
it just felt like there wasn't a lot of buildup going on.
Yeah, and it looks like the match was under 5 minutes. Mae gets tossed around. Mark Henry gets the pin. Meltzer didn't even bother rating it, so not a whole lot here, but a funny backstory with the pregnancy and all.
I mean, the story is like a ridiculous soap opera kind of thing, which we've talked about before. And I mean, it seems like the crowd was interested, but they didn't really care about any of the wrestling. They just wanted Mae Young to come out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And she used to be a wrestler. So it's cool. Good for her that she still got a spot on the card at this age. But we move on to the Hardy Boys with Terry Runnels versus Edge and Christian.
Yes. Another tag match?
Too many tag matches on this thing, honestly.
A little bit, but this one had some stakes. This was a tag match to determine who the number one contenders for the WWF Tag Team Championship would be. Didn't seem like there was too much backstory on the feud, but Terry hired APA as security. That's Bradshaw and Farouk. And I don't really know why she hired them. I guess maybe they didn't want the Dudley boys to come in and like interfere or something. I don't know. But I enjoyed this one, a lot long. It was a lot longer than the Dudley boys and the Outlaws. It had time to breathe. And again, like, how could you not like a Hardy Boys Edge and Christian match? They're always very good. This wasn't like one of their most famous ones. It was good. I don't think it was as good as some of the ones that people remember, fondly, but solid moves, good crowd investment, and, an interesting twist that I didn't necessarily see coming. So
yeah, I feel like it was cool to see the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian young, but they did develop further for sure. I thought it was funny that Lawler, when Terry came out, he said, "Glad to see your back, Terry. Glad to see your front too." His usual perv. And Edge and Christian are brothers. We've noticed at this part in WWE before. It's like the Dudleys are brothers. Edge and Christian are brothers. Neither of those things are true.
Matt and Jeff are brothers.
They actually are brothers. I'm like, you have some brothers. Why do you need to lie about everyone? Why has everyone got to be a fucking brother? Like, it doesn't
because that's what makes them such a good tag team. Is they came from the same womb.
Yeah, when Edge did a pile driver on Jeff Hardy, I was thinking a thing about pile drivers in wrestling. Like, I don't like them. Because dropping someone on their head should be the end. And I know that it was illegal in the NWA, and that if it ever happened, it got like a hard crowd reaction. People would cry and stuff, because when it did happen, they'd be like, they did this illegal move. Like, oh my God, someone could be dead. I like it with the Undertaker, because he crosses their hands like they're, rest in peace. Like it's all over. And you believe it when it's someone like the Undertaker. But I don't really... It's weird for me to see someone hit someone with like a pile driver, and then next thing you know, they're up and they're jumping around. And in AEW, people get hit with pile drivers like all day and they kick out. So I don't know. Side note, but the match was fine. Some cool high flying. I didn't really care who won, so I guess that made it a little less exciting for me.
Yeah,
Terry drew Jeff off the turnbuckle. She was supposed to be on his side, and I was wondering why she hired whatever the fucking guys, Farouk and Bradshaw. But we kind of find out after she sabotages the Hardys that she's sort of siding with Bradshaw and Farouk, and she's leaving the Hardys behind, which I don't know. Have we seen her turn on them before, or someone else turn on them?
I don't think we've seen anyone else turn on them in what we have watched.
Yeah,
and I don't think Terry was with them for very long. So, I think I don't know if Lita has shown up yet, or if she comes later.
Yeah.
But Terry betrayed the Hardys, like you said. She helps Edge and Christian get the win, and obviously the Hardys are mad at Terry, and then now you understand why she hired APA, because they
were calling the Acolytes. They're also APA.
Yeah, the Acolyte Protection Agency.
Okay. All right.
Is what it
sure,
is.
Whatever.
So yeah, they intervene on Terry's behalf once like Matt or Jeff is upset and trying to, pulling on her hair and trying to get her in the ring. They step in the ring, they beat the shit out of the Hardys, and then they walk away.
And that makes sense, because now Edge and Christian are number one contenders, and for the title, they can go on and fight the Dudleys, and then now the Acolytes have a program, I assume, with the Hardys. So it gives everyone a place to go after this. Dave Meltzer gave this one a 3-star rating, and I think it lasted, a little under 15 minutes. So it was all right,
Yeah, it wasn't bad, wasn't great. It was certainly better than the 5th match on the card, which is what's next, and that was Taz against the Big Boss Man, who is accompanied by Prince Albert.
Prince Albert is disgusting. He is named after penis jewelry.
I know. You know who that is? That's Matt Bloom is his actual name, his government name, and I think he's the head trainer in the Performance Center.
Oh, interesting. That's good that he's still working there. But he has a real sleazy vibe, like a kind of a leather daddy sort of thing with bad facial hair.
He's so hairy too.
His back is covered in hair. His face has like facial details where it's like a beard, but it's like little lines of a beard, and
he's got a lot of piercings. Just a pretty gross looking dude. I don't really, it seems like if this feud was happening before this night, they didn't explain it, because what they did show us was that Boss Man and Prince Albert attacked Taz earlier in the night, and now we have this match. So this match doesn't even make it a minute before Prince Albert starts to interfere and the ref calls for the bell. And I just wrote, like, what was the point of this? I mean, after the bell rings, they beat up Taz. He keeps getting back up. I guess the point maybe was to show how tough Taz was. One of the two of them, I think Boss Man took his nightstick and hit Taz in the face with it, and it shattered.
Yeah.
And he still got up and attacked them. So that would be my guess, is that they were trying to make Taz an even bigger badass. But the crowd, I'm pretty sure I heard the crowd chant bullshit while this was all going down. So to me, this was a waste of time and a misfire.
And also, having the cop character in this one, Boss Man is more in black attire, and he's kind of he looks like a riot gear cop. I mean, he doesn't have like the headgear, but he doesn't
look like he used to. He looks more like he's like a hired mercenary or something.
But seeing a cop, be an asshole and beat someone with a nightstick is, very American. So it seemed believable. It seemed more believable than his sort of cartoon cop sort of thing before. So, but
yeah, it's very Attitude Era, very modern.
Yeah.
For the time, modern heel.
But it's just a worthless match, a waste of a minute and 44 seconds. And we don't have a Meltzer rating on this one. I don't think there was one, but I would put it in the dud category personally. And then we get into a no holds barred match, Kane versus X-Pac. Man, there's a lot of matches on this thing. This is kind of a wild fight. I mean, Kane is obviously huge, and X-Pac is on the smaller end for a wrestler. X-Pac,
and it had a ridiculous story. Like they were like BFFs until X-Pac hooked up with Kane's girlfriend Tori.
Yeah, I guess Kane, he's had a rough life, and he finally got a girlfriend, and X-Pac decided to fuck her. So.
It's just like, holy shit, man, this is more like Jerry Springer soap opera nonsense.
Kane is called the Big Red Machine, and I always think it's funny when I hear that. It's not scary. It's
not very flattering.
Yeah, it just reminds me of Clifford the Big Red Dog.
It makes me just think of he's the Big Red Rocket.
Yeah.
He's a big old dog wiener.
Yeah, exactly, right? There's definitely a dog
That's going to be the name of this episode, isn't it?
I take it where I can get it, If we say something that's clickbaitable, I'll use it as the episode title. But it looks cool when they're fighting in the crowd, all the people with the signs, and just the hyped Attitude Era fandom.
You're right.
Yeah, that's cool. Paul Bearer.
The crowd always does love when people fight outside the ring. I've noticed over the last month or two that we've been watching.
Yeah.
Anytime it's around this time period and they're not fighting in the ring, crowd's like, oh my God, going fucking nuts. They're 10 feet away from me. Holy shit.
Yeah, they get excited. And Paul Bearer gets involved on Kane's behalf. That's kind of fun. He's wearing a red suit, I believe. Tori gets tombstoned by Kane.
Yeah, that got a huge pop.
Yeah, so, and then Kane gets pinned with X-Pac, has the stairs on his fucking head. I mean, it was violent and action-packed. It was moving us kind of along. It was cool, whatever. 2.5 star rating, less than 10-minute match.
It was okay. The finish with X-Pac pinning Kane with the stairs, the steel steps on his chest was a little weird.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel real, I guess. It felt a little staged. But it was a fun match. I didn't love it, but I also was not like, oh, this is so bad. It was what it promised it would be. I guess I just the thing that I'm noticing about this pay-per-view is every match feels like it would be great on paper, and then I watch it and I'm like, oh, this either didn't have any time at all, or it just wasn't as interesting as I thought it would be, or it didn't have as much crowd investment as I thought it would have. There's always something wrong with it.
I feel like I was trying to get through this and I just wasn't thrilled. I feel like it was all just kind of fodder getting us to the main event.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same.
Or the last couple matches, but even the second to last match is whatever. But yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. A lot of times when you watch boxing or something, it's like that. You're there just for one match, and then everything else is sort of fodder, and you get lucky sometimes. But with wrestling, yeah, I mean, we watch a lot of this shit. So us seeing Kane and X-Pac, and suck it, and Jerry Lawler saying sleazy stuff. It's like, this is like just kind of almost going to work at this point. Like, this stuff isn't that shocking. We see so much of it, right?
Yeah. And the next match kind of didn't really help with that, because we had another tag match. This time it was a 6-man tag match. It was Too Cool, which is Scotty 2 Hotty, Grandmaster Sexay, and Rikishi.
Yeah.
Against the Radicalz, who I actually didn't know that this was a thing, or I didn't remember that this was a thing. The Radicalz is Benoit, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, and Eddie Guerrero. And so, like, on its face, it's like, holy shit, what a group that is, you know? They just came over from WCW. This is before WCW had been purchased by WWF. So they were just like, nah, let's get the hell out of here. Because they would, and I remember this time too, you know, they weren't really being utilized in WCW. And all four, I mean, with the exception of Saturn, who was good, but just didn't get to the level of Benoit, Malenko, and Guerrero, like 3 out of the 4 are huge stars. So I was excited about it. It was not bad, but it was just kind of like, after everything else I had seen, I was like, meh, this was fine.
Yeah, I was just kind of in the wrong attitude of this once this came on, like, for the aforementioned reasons. Like, fuck, another tag match.
No, but like, it's funny that you said that, because I literally wrote down, I don't know if I'm in a bad mood or something, but like, this was just okay. So it wasn't just you weren't in a bad mood. Like, cause I don't think both of us could have simultaneously been in bad moods,
right?
Watching this on different days at different times. You know, it was just something about it just felt a little meh.
You got like the one dude, like, I think Scotty 2 Hotty, he's got like a visor on with spiky hair, and everyone's screaming worm. They want him to do the worm, and Jerry Lawler's,
it's a bucket hat with the top cut off so that his spiky hair can come straight up through the top.
Jerry says he's got this something about Mary hair gel in there. Another Jerry Lawler sleaze moment. Scotty eventually does do the worm. You know, there's one of the guys is like a white guy with a do-rag.
Yeah, that's Lawler's son.
Yeah.
Grandmaster Sexay, isn't that Brian Christopher?
Oh, right. You're right. We've talked about that.
Yeah, so no one's really, nobody on Too Cool is that good. Rikishi's fine, but he was playing an injury angle this whole match. Like, someone had attacked his leg. I assume it was the Radicalz, you know, on TV or whatever. But the thing that bugged me the most was there came a point where it was so hard to tell who were the legal participants of the match. And I know that, you know, that's very nitpicky. I understand. But you at least need to be entertained enough where you don't ask yourself that question. So if I'm asking who's legal in the match, something's not going right.
Right. I agree with you on that. It should be taking you to a place, not like just sort of whatever this was. You're waiting for a stink face, a worm. You get the stink face from Rikishi eventually on Benoit's face or something.
I think so. Yeah.
And then Rikishi eventually, I guess, does a Rikishi bomb.
Yeah, it's like Nia, the Annihilator. I didn't realize that's where Nia got it from.
Well, before both of them,
it was Yokozuna.
Right? Was doing it.
It's
right?
a Samoan thing.
Yeah,
just drop that ass.
Yeah, so that's what won, and Rikishi and the 2 jackass dudes that he's tagging with do like a boy band dance that we've seen before when we watch this era. It's funny to see Rikishi dance. He always kind of acts like he's not going to do it with Sexay and 2 Hotty, but then he like comes back and he puts on the glasses,
like, all right,
and then he does it. And I mean, they're dancing in a line to the choreographed dance, and then Rikishi bends over in his thong and his huge fucking dimply ass, and you know, does the whole thing. It's funny, and it's entertaining and ridiculous. And I mean, you know, Meltzer gave this one 3 stars. I would go more like 1.5, you know, or 2 tops. But
yeah, I think it's probably just because it's got Benoit, Malenko, and Saturn in it. Like,
yeah.
I think we've just seen a lot of this kind of stuff before. And I also think that Too Cool were very popular at that time. You know, it was like Eminem was popular. It was like the white rapper situation. And, you know, dressing like they're on the Real World or some shit. So there's nothing wrong with it. It was just like, it was fine. It was good.
It captured a time for sure.
Yeah. And I did write down here, because we mentioned it before, but I wrote down LOL. Kurt Angle has been celebrating the entirety of this pay-per-view, just walking around the concourse, walking through the fucking every part of the arena and just celebrating that he has 2 belts.
Yeah, that was a funny thread. I mean, and it gets paid off here after the other matches. I don't remember at the end, the very end? No, after this match, I think.
It was after after match number 8, which was Big Show versus The Rock. This one had a bit of story, and we watched. So in the Royal Rumble 2000, which we did watch, Rock and Big Show were the final 2, and from the angle that we saw it on the pay-per-view, it looked like Rock and Big Show went over at the same time, but Rock was able to hang on to the top rope and not have his feet touch the ground. But this whole storyline was based on the fact that Rock's feet actually did touch the ground, and they touched the ground before Big Show's did. So technically, according to Big Show, he was the winner of the Royal Rumble, and he deserves a title match at WrestleMania. The story itself, like the finer details of like, he's trying to convince Triple H, and Triple H is like, oh, well, just find me a witness or find me some photographic evidence. And Triple H just keeps making it harder for Big Show. Like, that was all kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I think the premise of the idea, like taking something that probably was a mistake and making it into a storyline, I like that. That's the kind of stuff that when it happens nowadays, you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. Is it real? Is it not real? I don't know.
So you think Big Show was supposed to win the Rumble, but because people knew that Rock's feet hit, they went ahead and made a match?
I don't know. I'm not sure why this became a story.
Yeah.
If it got any kind of backlash or whatever, because like I was saying a minute ago, I don't know if you remember, but when we watched this Rumble, like that, we didn't see that angle of Rock's feet touching first.
Right.
We saw like behind the Rock, so you couldn't even tell that his feet had touched.
Right.
First.
Yeah. That's funny.
So I don't know if it was like, like you're saying, like backlash from people who were there or reporting or whatever. I don't think that really happened as much back then.
Yeah.
But either way, it was a cool setup. But even this match didn't really do much for me. Again, until the end, which I thought was, at least I was laughing at it because it was kind of ridiculous.
Did you see the sign that said candy ass, and it had an actual plastic ass on it?
No.
So it was like a poster board, candy on the top, ass on the bottom. But then, it was like,
amazing.
That was pretty good, like an ass glued to it. Big Show's yelling at the ref a lot. It was good to see a young Big Show. He's billed at 500 pounds, and I believe it.
Didn't they say he was 28 or something?
Okay, yeah, they said his age.
Like 28 years old or something like that. I was like, wow, gosh, he's so young. Maybe he was even younger. Maybe he was 25. I don't know.
The refs have been fighting all night because there was something that happened with when the Jericho match occurred and Angle cheated with the belt. I think Ebner or someone came out and tried to say like, "Hey, this is what really happened," and the ref was like, "Why the fuck are you like interfering in my match?" So that comes into play in this match. There's a ref bump, and then the other ref comes out and tries to count, and
then Earl rips that ref out of the ring, starts yelling at him, and then before you know it, the second ref was like ground and pounding Hebner. Like it looked like he was full force punching him. It was hilarious. I was like, what is happening?
You don't see that a lot in WWE. You don't see a lot of that.
No.
You do see it in Mexico in AAA. The referees, there's a lot more like heel refs and babyface refs, and they do get into fights.
That's fun.
But yeah, it's kind of a fun thing. But I was surprised to see it happen with Earl. And then Shane McMahon comes out and
huge pop.
Yeah, and he distracts everybody. And I don't know, Rock hits.
He was pro Rock. He was supposed to be, or like that's. I'm assuming that's what we were supposed to think, right? Because he got such a big babyface reaction.
Yeah,
he's coming down to the ring. You're like, oh, maybe he's gonna help Rock out. But I can't remember. I think Rock got a rock bottom on Big Show. He was mid people's elbow, and Shane ran in with a chair and smacked Rock in the face.
Yeah, and Big Show wins, which is brutal and kind of messy, but it, it's all right. I mean, I guess that sends Big Show to WrestleMania.
Sort of, which is the funny thing about like how this all turns out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you at the end. But yes, Shane screws The Rock. Big Show gets the win. As far as we know, he is headed to WrestleMania for a title shot.
Yes, and then we get the payoff of where Chris Jericho finally catches up to the celebrating Kurt Angle, who he calls Kurt Angel. I don't really know how good of an insult that is, but he finally catches him
he's trying to call him Chris Angel?
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah.
That's what I assume.
Yeah, but
was Chris Angel even around in the year 2000?
Probably, but he finally catches his ass and beats him up in the parking lot. So at least you get that going. The celebration is over. And we move on to the WWF title, Hell in a Cell. Champion Triple H versus Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack's career versus Triple H's championship title. This one was good. This goes into sort of like classic territory. This kind of makes up for some of the lackluster stuff we'd seen getting up to this match. And I never seen this match, and I'm excited that I did. I was curious because, I mean, the stakes are high, right? A retirement match potentially if Cactus Jack loses, and they mention in it it's Cactus Jack, McFoley, Mankind.
Yeah, it's everyone.
Whatever you Dude Love, whatever you want to call them, they're all done if this happens.
And this had been building for a while too. We saw at Royal Rumble 2000 that was their hardcore match that we watched. That was like super crazy with the thumbtacks, where he took the pedigree on the thumbtacks. So yeah, this one's been brewing for a while. It had a really good recap package, and it's what you expect. But for some reason, like you're saying, this one slapped a little bit. This one starts off violent. It's violent the whole way through. The first spot I wrote down that I thought was pretty gnarly was Triple H picked up the steel steps and threw them at Cactus Jack, like, I think as hard as he could.
Yeah. And the crowd is firmly behind Cactus Jack. They're chanting Foley.
Yeah, it just kind of continued. So part of the build-up, part of the recap, Cactus was talking about how he was going to jump off of the cell, but this time he was gonna, jump onto Triple H. So the cell gets lowered, the match starts, and Cactus goes over to the door, and the door has got like 8 giant locks on it. So there's just no way he's gonna be able to get out, climb the cage, and jump onto Triple H. So they're fighting outside of the ring for a bit. I think Triple H was gonna do like a pedigree maybe on the bottom section of the steel steps, but Cactus reverses it and throws, what do they call that? He's got him on his back and just chucks him behind him into the cage, and that busts Triple H open.
Yeah, that was a cool move, whatever that was called.
I forget what they call that. I feel like an idiot, but that happens all the time. Eventually, Cactus throws some of the steps into one of the panels of the cage, and it breaks. So he can get out and finally make good on his promise to jump onto Triple H somehow.
Cactus was trying to break that cage the whole time, but it was cool when he finally did it. And he's got a lot to live up to, because this is after he had done all that crazy match with the Undertaker.
With Taker, yeah. And I looked it up.
Which this match does harken back to.
Yeah, no, for sure. I looked it up, and this was, I think, like the 5th or 6th Hell in a Cell match ever. There was the Shawn Michaels Undertaker one, the Foley Undertaker one, something else in between, and then there were a couple. They were sort of like pseudo Hell in a Cells that were on Monday Night Raws. But yeah, this one I felt like lived up to the reputation of a Hell in a Cell match. So once the cage is broken and they're both outside of the cage, Triple H starts to climb up to the top. Cactus comes up after him, but Triple H, attacks him while he's still on the side. And Foley does a fall onto the Spanish announce table that looked pretty rough. The way his head kind of looked like it snapped back.
Yeah.
I don't know if he actually made contact with anything, but it looked
Yeah.
intense for sure.
They were saying he hit his head on the chair, but it didn't look like he hit his head to me, but it's still crazy. I mean, he fell off the fucking damn near the top of the cage, and that's what everyone expected, what people want to see. And then
I forgot to mention that before Foley climbed up to try and come after Triple H, he pulled out a barbed wire wrapped 2x4, threw that up. Foley pushed it off to Triple H pushed it off to the side and then threw Foley down onto the ground.
You don't get the barbed wire 2x4 in wrestling anymore that often, right?
You don't, no. I'm not very often. And this one isn't just a regular barbed wire wrapped 2x4. So anyway, Foley takes a minute to get up from going through that table. I think eventually he does go up to the top, and they're fighting a bit on the roof. And then you don't see what Cactus is doing for a while. Eventually he lights the barbed wire wrapped 2x4 on fire. And he hits Triple H with it once.
On top of the cage.
Top of the cage, yeah. And then it looks like Cactus is going to try to pile drive Triple H onto it. But Triple H does a reverse into a back body drop, which gets Cactus to land on top of the cage. And an entire panel of the cage just kind of becomes undone and swings open. And Cactus falls like he did in that match with Taker, but this time very much on purpose, down into the ring, which also breaks, or I don't know how, like what they did with Taz and Bam Bam.
Clearly there's a spot.
There's a hole of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah. With some sort of pad to drop onto. But I mean, it still look crazy.
Super intense. Yeah.
And as long as the pad isn't exposed or whatever, it doesn't really matter. I mean, he went through the ring. It's for all intents and purposes,
Yeah. He 100% went through the ring, makes a big hole. It was even for them planning it, as opposed to what happened with Cactus or Foley and Undertaker, this still looked so dangerous.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways that could have gone wrong. So yeah, very impressive.
I was nervous when they were standing on top of the cage and with something on fire. I mean, mind you, when he went through the cage, they just left that thing on fire on top of the cage. But when they're all this stuff was actually making me nervous. It wasn't just, oh my God, there's Mick Foley. He jumps off of shit. They're bleeding again. No, it makes you kind of queasy. You're all these cages, all this wire and cage is kind of giving way and bending as they're walking on it in weird spots. They're heavy dudes. And I know that the part that came apart was planned, but the other parts that were walking on it still made me feel uneasy. And I guess that's the emotional ride you want to be taken on. I understand why they don't do shit quite like this anymore, because they're lucky that they never paralyzed someone. They paralyze people doing far less spots, far less dangerous spots. People still get dropped on their heads. So this shit was, crazier than anything we'll probably see again in the WWE. I could see somebody convincing Tony Khan to let him do something like that in AEW someday, but
Darby fucking jumped off a ladder into a pane of glass. That's arguably crazier than any of this. But yeah, you're right.
And they're always lighting each other on fire. I know that they have fire retardant, creams on, but I wouldn't have the courage to try that, no matter how professional it was on a movie set or in a wrestling ring. It's still insane. Props to these guys for risking themselves for our entertainment, for all of these, over the years we've watched this shit back, and it's always fuck, you can't top the attitude.
Yeah, it never fails. Yeah, you just always feels the stakes are always high. Even if you know that everyone's okay, it still manages to captivate and entertain. And that wasn't even technically the end of the match. It ended maybe a minute or two after. But Cactus got up from that bump. He wasn't ready to give up just yet. He did get hit with the pedigree a minute later and got pinned. So Triple H wins. But yeah, this was obviously the match of the night.
Cactus retires only to come back 30 days later or so.
Yeah, for WrestleMania. So this is the funny part, right? So this WrestleMania, I remember WrestleMania 2000. The main event was a fucking fatal 4-way. It wasn't even
Boo.
Yeah, like Big Show didn't even get his match. I mean, he was in the match, but it was a fatal 4-way elimination match. Okay, so it was a little different because it was like getting rid of people one at a time instead of just like one pin and it's over. It was
Eventually you do get 2 men in the ring fighting it out, but it
Yeah.
takes a minute to get there. Yeah.
It was Triple H versus The Rock versus Mick Foley versus Big Show. And everyone had a McMahon, on their side. So Triple H had Stephanie, Rock had Vince, Mick had Linda, and Big Show had Shane.
He had Linda, huh? That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So we have a 3-tier rating system here at Grapple City Rewind. Fast forward, play, or rewind. Fast forward being we did not like it. Play being we enjoyed it. And rewind being it was pretty fucking awesome. Of the best things we've watched, amongst the best things we've watched. This was your call to watch this particular pay-per-view, Aaron. So that means that you are to go first and give us your verdict.
I am to go first. Okay. Well, I am torn because the main event's really good. Angle versus Jericho was pretty good. Most of the tag matches were good, but then there was just like a bunch of poop around it.
Yeah.
Like I just my when I finished the pay-per-view, I wrote fast forward, just watch the main event and the opening match.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with my initial thought. Fast forward. Just watch the main event, watch the opening match. You could watch one of the tag matches, but that's the thing, right? Is like, if I'm going to tell you to go watch a 2000s era tag match, there's like 5 others that I would pick before any of these. So fast forward.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, on all those points, I wrote down play, but it just because there was a classic match to end it off, or something that felt like it could be something that was a really good Hell in the Cell match. But if it wasn't for that, I probably would have went all the way down to fast forward. So, it was hard to get through it all. I mean, I could have gone either way, but we'll just say play for me, and that balances it out to probably where it should be, where it's kind of not the worst thing ever, but certainly not something that we would give a rewind rating. And we always love to hear from you out there, the Grapple Gang. You can leave us a voicemail. It goes straight to our Google Voice answering machine. Don't worry, we're not going to pick up. It's not going to be an awkward conversation. Just get a couple minutes to cut a promo on Aaron, cut a promo on me, cut a promo on the show. Tell us what you want us to listen to next. Tell us your thoughts about these pay-per-views that we've been watching. Really, you can, as the saying goes, anything goes. You can call and say whatever you want. We'll play it on the air. I'll make sure I play a voicemail or two on the next episode. That's 626-657-SLAM.
Pick up the phone.
626-657-SLAM. Or you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, X, IG, whatever. That is Instagram. Cross social media, Grapple City Pod, or grapplecitypod@gmail.com if you'd rather send us an email. Today, we got some emails here. Oh, people were pissed off about, not at us for once, but they were pissed off about the result of a match we watched last time in our last episode. What did we watch last episode?
No Way Out 2001, I think.
Yeah, they were talking about that. Oh, they were pissed that Austin lost that match. That Triple H should not have won that. One guy from On the Mark Wrestling Podcast reached out and said it was one of the greatest messages of their career. It's such a rewatchable classic. The feud between those two, the feud leading up to No Way Out was top notch. But then someone else wrote in and said Austin not winning was ridiculous booking.
It wasn't the best, especially when you consider what happened at WrestleMania 17. I don't know if you remember that one, but pretty sure that's the one where Stone Cold turns heel. Like he aligns with Vince.
Okay, yeah. This other guy, Adam, said the whole rivalry was so good. It really seemed like they hated each other so much. Triple A winning. Like he loved Triple H winning because it was unexpected and should have led to more after Mania, before the Austin heel turn messed all of that up. So people have various opinions. It seemed like a hotly contested creative choice amongst the Grapple Gang.
Interesting. I mean,
I thought it was cool.
I didn't really. I liked the match a lot. It was a fantastic match. I guess I didn't. In having the benefit of hindsight, I don't really care who won.
Yeah.
Like I just like both of those guys, but I could see how at the time with all that build up, like
people are still mad
strange
about it
choice.
25 years later, apparently. But I mean, they did let Austin walk away. He lost, then he hits a stunner, then he walks away with his music playing. So Triple H wins, but Austin walks out on his feet. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, that kind of gives both people. It was just a solid match. It was just kind of one of those bangers where you could put it. It's not about who wins. It's about like, watch this fucking display. Like, this shit's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And neither of them were the champion at the time too. So kind of like, it's fine that they did what they did. But hey, wrestling fans have strong opinions, so
They do.
Gotta respect it.
They love to call us out when we're wrong, which we don't mind, and they love to.
I'm wrong all the time, dude. I don't even remember what I had for lunch like 2 days ago, so I'm not going to remember all these wrestling facts.
Yeah,
I need people to tell me I'm wrong. That's how I learn.
It's amazing how some of these fans. It's like, why don't you guys have a podcast? You guys know every fucking thing, every goddamn thing. Watching this pay-per-view is your call, Aaron. So that makes the next one mine, and we like to pick timely pay-per-views, or at least pay-per-views that happened the similar month that we happen to be in. We've been hanging out in WWF, WWE for a while. I'm thinking, let's take it back to ECW.
Oh,
Let's go to, let's see, ECW. There was a pay-per-view, I think in the 90s, that was in February, that was exclusively online, called CyberSlam, ECW CyberSlam. 1996. There is, it looks like, Raven versus the Sandman, Shane Douglas versus Cactus Jack, Too Cold Scorpio fought Sabu, Francine and the Pitfalls versus Stevie Richard and the Eliminators, JT Smith versus Axel Rotten. You got Bubba Ray Dudley versus Mr. Hughes, Taz versus Joel Hartgood. Got some interesting shit on there, and we haven't been in ECW in a while. We're probably going to have to pirate this one, but you and I know how to do that just fine, I think. So let's go ECW CyberSlam 1996. How about that?
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, that's all the time we got for this episode. We'll be back at you as soon as we possibly can. Don't forget to call and leave us a promo on that 626-657 SLAM number, and we will make sure we report back on how much fun we had watching AEW Dynamite live and in person this week.
Catch you in the cheap seats. Adios.